laying it up. You keep it laying it up. Yeah.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Shane Davis.
And I am Brandon Fountain, and we are the Controlled Burn.
And today, we have a very, very special guest.
Some would say the second best good-looking Brandon in the industry.
I don't think anybody says that about either one of y'all.
You don't
But
think
let's welcome Brandon Mosley on the podcast today. So you are the, as I understand, the owner of Baseline Laboratories?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Choctaw America, right smack
Represent.
dab in the...
Huh.
Yeah, that's the trailer park we represent.
Yeah, so this was one that, first off, I've been really, really looking forward to because
same.
we haven't had anybody from any of our peers on the lab side of cannabis on the show yet. But every time I've gotten like an opportunity to sit down with like our really niche community, it's been pretty awesome. Like, did you go to that metric deal? What was it, a year or two ago?
I did not. I don't think I made the metric one, but I've tried to interact all that I can with every opportunity that back in the day when the OMA would have their roundtable type stuff.
Right.
I've always tried to participate and contribute what I could there.
Well, we're all kind of like in our own bubble in a lot of ways. I mean, you can learn a whole lot just by communicating, and there's a lot of tribalism kind of in our world, and you see a lot of like infighting, and I think for the community, it is really honestly a good look when they can see that we are adults and we can communicate.
Most of us, anyway.
Right, and we're not gonna throw any arrows any direction, but
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like which I've only sat down and talked to you a few times, but I mean you've been pretty awesome so far. Berniacs out there, forgive me if he just turns on us and starts shooting leather at us, but
I can't believe you sons of bitches let me on here. I've been waiting to give you a piece about my nuts.
let me tell you what I think about OKCTL.
I'll try to keep it holstered for you boys.
So man, tell us a little bit about kind of how you got into this, where you started.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how long the podcast is, but I'm really not that great at talking about myself. But first of all, thank you guys both for the invite to come on here and at least
Well, it was the least I
banter
could
back
do.
and forth, and you were kind of alluding to the fact that, hey, this is my sandbox, my toys. And
Right.
I'm not trying to be that guy.
No.
So I'll share my sandbox and I'll share some of my toys, but not all of them. How about that?
Well,
Yeah, right.
me and Brandon, we were on a bowling team a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly got my ass whipped. So, I figured, I was like, well, I probably learned a couple things from this guy.
Bowling is not something you're going to learn from me. I can promise you that.
I had bowled in, at least a decade until that. And I'll be honest, I was a little better than I thought I was going to be, and I was terrible.
It went better than it could have. At the same time, it was pretty awful.
Hey, your boy, he was a maverick. He was killing it.
Yeah.
I know in the second game, because you won the second one, right? Or you guys were close,
Well,
but he was consistent.
I may have won the second one, but it was pure accident. Pure
He
luck.
smoked us that first game.
Definitely.
When I came out like a sleeper, because my very first throwdown, I did all right. Like I think I spared it, and I was like
on your first bowl.
Yeah. So everybody was like, "Oh shit, okay, we
Okay,
might have
we got
a
one
bowler." Yeah, no,
Never did it again. Yeah.
Literally guttered it 95% of the time after that.
Oh, Ernie McCracken from the what was that show?
The
The one with Woody Harrelson and
yeah.
the big arm, big perm.
Yes,
Remember that guy?
dude. That was because they were betting. Yeah. God dang it, what was that? That's a dang.
That's
good
the only
movie.
bowling movie I know.
It's not the Big Lebowski.
No, it's that's gonna drive
Kingpin.
me. Kingpin, yes.
Kingpin, oh
yeah.
my God.
No,
Yeah.
it's actually a damn good movie.
It's a great show.
Yeah. It's
Dude,
a
I
good
haven't
one.
seen that.
Dude, it's a
beat.
hustler movie, is what it is. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's like
the cast was awesome. Bill Murray. Woody Harrelson.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a movie.
So we had a copy of it on VHS, and I was not allowed to watch it. I remember that. That's how young. Well, I mean, this is in the '90s, so that movie must have come out early '90s or mid '90s because it was.
Y'all ever watch Boogie Nights?
Was there a scene in it?
Probably. I mean,
probably
yeah, probably. It was. No, there was a movie out there, Boogie Nights, Burt Reynolds, and Mark Wahlberg in it, right? And so my Ganny, my grandma, I call her Ganny, she's real country. She rents this movie because it looks like a 70s kind of style movie, and
It was.
yeah, right. It was. And we sit down, just me and her sit down in our living room, and we put the VHS in.
You're probably
and
10, 11 years old.
Oh, dude, about 20 seconds into the movie, Heather Graham rolls out butt naked on roller skates, and my grandma, oh my God, and turns that shit off. I was like, oh, let's not be jumping.
Hear it out, Grandma. We're adults here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I snuck back out about 3 o'clock in the morning. Finished. It's a good movie,
Oh, dude, my first ever. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what y'all's first, memory of this was, but first ever awkward watching with your parents and a set of boobies pops up was Tango and Cash. Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell. Still a phenomenal movie. I mean, obviously the acting is always a little cheesy, when you watch it now. But
they're fun. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
The first. There's two. I think there's at least 2 or 3. I may exactly know the timestamps. I don't want to go into it here, but first set is they're in a parking garage and they're chasing somebody down, and a woman and a dude are in there getting busy in a vehicle, and she pops up, and it happens just fast, just boom, boobies, right? And I'll never forget. I was watching with my grandpa, the very conservative Christian grandpa. And it's so funny. He was a property manager for a nursing, I want to say nursing home, but an old folks apartment complex, assisted apartment complex, if you will,
Gotcha.
in Mounds, Oklahoma. It used to be called Sunset Village. And at night, he had his mother and his father-in-law and one of his daughters that lived with him, and he had a double wide out in Mounds. So it was always crowded, the TV. So me and him would just go down to his job, and we would go to the community center. Obviously, it was closed, and we, couches, food, everything, and he'd cook up, and so we would go down there. We had all the snacks down there, all the drinks. We had nobody in there, bathrooms, everything. So we'd go down there, 7 o'clock at night. And we would stay down there and watch movies all night. This is a core memory from when I was a kid, right?
We need that now.
Take your grandson to work day.
You need to know, dude. I would.
We went down there and we watched Tango and Cash. Rented it from whatever movie store was in Mounds, Oklahoma at the time.
Right.
It was actually a convenience store that doubled as a movie rental place.
They all did back then.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss those though.
And we went down there and we watched Tango Cash, and I'll never forget, man. I seen it and I was like, and I look over at him and he kind of glances over at me and doesn't say anything and just keeps going. And then 10 minutes later they're in a strip club and he's going to talk to Demi. Was it Demi Moore that was in that movie? I think it was Demi Moore. Maybe, anyways.
It's been a minute.
It's someone, it's another, pretty damn good looking actress from the day. And the second set pops up, and I remember he looks over at me and he goes, "We ought not be watching this, but let's just keep it between us." And I was like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Will do. And that was my core first ever memory of yeah, man, you just never get those memories back, bud. You just looking at boobies at the old folks' home with your grandpa, 94, so there's that.
That's a great transition into how you started your business.
Yeah. So back when we were filming Tango and Cash.
Right.
No.
Inspired.
Yeah. So I can see how this could get derailed pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
With you two boys.
It happens, yeah. So you started environmental side.
So I did. So how far back do you want to rewind?
Well, so how long? So on your environmental side, has it always been Baseline?
So it has. So I'm fixing to date myself. You guys were talking about some movies. I was like, well, that was just a couple days ago. But y'all were talking like it was way back in.
You got a couple of years on us, but not much.
Back whenever we had the old reel to reel. I'm not quite that old, but I do remember those, So
I was born in
I
the
go
90s.
back.
Yeah, I got you. I got you by a couple decades, bro. So you can be referred to as the younger Brandon, and I can be the good-looking Brandon.
All right, that'll work.
Baby Brandon.
Yeah, the double B.
Yeah, double B.
So I actually, I'll just start from the beginning. So, born and bred, raised in Oklahoma, Southwest Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Graduated high school in Oklahoma. Did my undergraduate school at Southwestern in Weatherford in Oklahoma. Got a chemistry degree from there. I did go on and start graduate school at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. Did not finish an advanced degree. Had enough of school and I was ready to go to work.
That's fair.
There's a few other factors that played into that, but
I hear you.
But we'll eliminate some of that.
I bet some of it was what happened to Tango and Cash there.
Not exactly, but
it leads to that.
Right. So really didn't finish graduate school. Went to work for a laboratory there in Fayetteville for a brief stint, and fast forward a little bit, I'm wind up back in Oklahoma City working for an environmental laboratory and worked there for a few years, and then had an opportunity in 2015 to start Baseline Laboratories. And we really started it I really started Baseline Laboratories to really be a one-man show to really service some nat gas and petroleum type customers that I already had a relationship with. And I'm the only guy that could start a business hinged on the petroleum industry, and oil went from $80 to $20 a barrel. Seemed like overnight. So here I am. Now I've got to figure out a way to pay bills and all that stuff. So,
well, and that was about what, 15 years ago?
11 now. But
I was on the oil supply side.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Yep.
I mean, overnight. I mean, we downsized. I mean, immediately.
There was a lot of that.
What incident spurred that?
Lord, man,
got to be something. It's always an incident, right? Some war.
I forget what it was back then. There was all kinds of stuff going on. You know, 2008 was whenever the kind of that recession that happened. So we weren't too far removed from that. And then
this was closer to 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I think is when the big one hit.
Yep.
And I mean, it went because like I know Texas. I mean, the amount of people who, lost their ass, and then because you run into that deal because kind of what you're saying. A good buddy of mine is kind of the guy that taught me, how to be a business-to-business salesman. We were working for a company that was oil field supply, and he jumped out of that, right around the same time, and opened up his own deal. And we had a pretty solid customer base, and the company that we worked for was based out of a different area. So we had all the relationships. We knew everybody, knew the suppliers real well. Been working with them for a long time, and he survived it because it was one of them deals. When that happened, he jumped in that, and he didn't have enough meat on the bone to really have like a team. So he basically did it all himself.
Him and his buddy. Him and his partner.
It was initially me, him, and our buddy Tim.
Well, that's right, because you did make.
It was one of them deals where, which I've got a litter of children, so I've got a.
For anybody that doesn't remember, it's 10.
10 is what I heard.
10 kids.
Yeah, that's what I understood.
Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but 10.
Both hands.
Both hands.
I've got a bottom line. You know what I mean? I got to meet a certain quota.
Yeah.
And
and
at that time it was a big pivot because it was like everything changed overnight.
Well, you were betting it on black, brother. Like you did that. Like you were gonna bet it on black. You know what I mean? That would have been effectively what it was for you.
Well, and the people who did survive it, they're still around, going strong.
Well, hell yeah.
So did that happen? Immediately when you transitioned?
It seemed like it, but in reality, it really wasn't. It was probably a course of a couple, 3 months that all that really transpired when the bottom fell out of the price of a barrel of oil. It's probably, looking back on it, it's probably a real blessing.
You get creative.
Maybe you got to.
Right.
Maybe some divine intervention there of maybe it was a real blessing. Maybe the real blessing was the fact that, hey, I didn't have a bunch of employees at then. It was just me, so I didn't have to worry about feeding everybody else's mouths, but just let me give me a little bit to try to figure out how to survive. And what that really ultimately led to was getting back into the environmental realm, which I'd been in working for another company at that time or before then. I really had the knowledge and the base foundation of how to go about doing the environmental analysis that I had done for years. So I quickly put Baseline Labs on track to become accredited to do environmental analysis again.
I got to ask you a question.
The first time.
you're a guy that, I mean, you're more country than I am. I
appreciate you picking up on that.
I love to do country shit. I love to go hunting. I love to go fishing. But
I'm very country.
I enjoy also like living in the city where I can go get all the nice commodities that I enjoy.
He likes a latte. You know what I mean?
Like I do. I like me a nice latte and a nice, ice cold Red Bull where, you can go down to Quick Trip and get them, buy two, get one free.
He's got a Coach fanny bag. You know what I mean? Like
we churned them. We churned Red Bull when I was growing up.
I do enjoy, a medium luxury backpack or satchel, waist bag, if you will.
Fanny pack.
Whatever.
Yeah.
How did you get into, what made you say, you know what, I want to get into chemistry or like the science, like the real brainy type sciences?
So I can really only point to, we always have role models that as we're growing up that influence our lives tremendously.
Yep.
And it's funny you bring that up. I had a science teacher in high school that really not only sparked my interest in science, cultivated that interest. I always had an interest in science, and really growing up, junior high, high school, early high school, I really kind of felt led to do something along in biology, and kind of got to looking at it. And as we start, as we all did in high school, kind of career development type questionnaires and stuff like that, and ultimately it come down to, I wasn't sure I could make a living doing biology if I didn't go on and become a teacher, and teaching was the last thing I wanted to do.
Because these kids.
Well, wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, I mean,
I couldn't do it. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, and you've got 10 of them to.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I take lip from my kids, and I'm like, oh, I made you, and I love you.
Right.
I can't imagine having to take lip from a kid that I have no emotional connection
well,
to.
that's I've got no. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the news. I'm going to punch one in the mouth. I know it.
Well, and these poor teachers, because like
I think it's shit on too.
I've got the whole spectrum. I've got the students or the teacher pet, and I've got the one that creates the riots.
Right.
And
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I started every parent-teacher
Statistically,
conference.
you have to have that. That's kind of how it has to work in your house.
Right. Yeah, it's not one size fits all.
I mean, you can be 90% successful and still have one outlier.
Oh, dude.
I was going to say, I would watch real carefully because statistically, you may have a serial killer, brother. I'm just saying, just keep an eye on it.
Might have a millionaire too. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're
Yeah.
Keep them divided, but keep them loving me. You know what I mean?
Right. 100%.
So, really, my high school biology, zoology, chemistry teacher was a huge influence in my life and directing my life towards a path towards science. And man, awesome. I truly learned from that woman. Matter of fact, my wife and I, we left church 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's actually been more than 2 or 3 weeks ago, a couple months ago now. But she had her 80th birthday, and we got to attend her 80th birthday celebration, and it was incredible.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was. Still great relationship.
I was about to say, so she knows how special she is.
She knows exactly how special she is
awesome.
to me.
I love
for
that,
sure.
Dude.
No, that's a cool opportunity. Like my biology teacher, he pushed me the other way. He was a dick.
Man, I definitely have a couple of teachers that were impactful to my childhood, and it's actually funny because my mom was a single mom, and my dad was not a good person when I was when I was growing up. I didn't have a relationship with him. It's funny because you've mentioned church, so obviously me and we've had conversations. We know that we pretty well have the same set of beliefs, core set of beliefs, and I was raised in church. Obviously squandered a bit, took a very far left path, and was not exactly what I would call a role model student. In fact, I only had one teacher in all of high school that I can think of that actually liked me and was like, "You're gonna be something. You just got to get this shit talking out of your system." And that was Miss Maddox, who I've still like. She was the she loved all the rejects, dude. I'm telling you, like she was that teacher.
There is hundreds of kids that will point to her as being
100%.
She was the psychology teacher, and did she do English?
Yeah.
See, I didn't have English with her, but
I had English with her, not psychology.
My senior year, this woman, which God bless her, but my senior year, I only had to do like half the day at that point. And in her class was one I didn't really need because it was an elective. So it was my first hour, and every day I would walk into class about 35, 40 minutes late. I'd walk in, I'd grab her car keys, I'd drive her car to the Berry Hill Food Mart gas station right next to the high school, fill her tank up, get her a Diet Coke and a sausage roll, and then drive back, hand it to her. And I'd made it almost the whole year without really ever going to that class. And then people got, like I guess upset about it or jealous about it and threw us under the bus. And she finally was like, hey, I've got to write you up or else I'm going to get in trouble. I was like, dude, you got to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because you think about it, it's like there's definitely, we were just now getting into that era where like you had to be careful because you could get sued. Or
there wasn't social media.
You didn't have social media. You didn't have the cancel culture. You didn't have the... you didn't have all that. I also had a story from school that I will not tell on this episode. But
I was going to say, you might have had another teacher
did have another teacher that was impactful that I would not, definitely not bring up on here. And I think back on like that situation. I think back on situations like that and I'm like, oh, that would have been on the news if it would have happened in 2026.
Bro.
For sure.
Dude, we were trading guns in our lockers in school.
That's me and him talked about this just a couple months back, dude. Like we had kids. We went to Berry Hill, right? So I did go to Union, and it was bigger, and it was definitely they were more on. They jumped on the train way quicker than the small town school.
Berry Hill was like it's about 5 minutes away from a 5-minute drive away from downtown Tulsa, but it's a hidden little community. Kind of surrounded by hills, so it feels like a country school.
Yes, like it's a community. It's not even a town. Berry Hills doesn't exist on a map. It's a community. Yeah. It's a Tulsa zip code. They've got. I think Berry Hill has a post office now. But anyways,
like how many students you guys graduated with?
I graduated with 106. Back in 2006.
Yeah, and I was about to say I think my class was crazy enough. It was a little bit smaller. It's supposed to be like 90 something, but regardless, it was so it's a 3A school with 4A football and 4A. I think all sports are 4A now. Maybe it
was 3A when I went. It was 3A. It might have changed.
Yeah, they bumped up to 4A in football because they had a really good football team, believe it or not, and not much else going on.
The
wrestling in their band was pretty good. Wrestling was baseball. Okay, they had good sports.
Yeah, it was a sports school.
Yeah, they had a sports school. Yeah,
and their band won a bunch.
But you just didn't have like they still did corporal punishment. Like I got in trouble.
SWATs.
Miss Tara, we had a principal.
I'm aware of what that means.
Oh, boy. Read that sentence on that thing. Oh, whap! Yeah.
We had it was so funny because the principal, the first year I came there, we had just left and was still working there, I think, but just not as principal. He stepped down, but his name was Prater. And then this woman, this linebacker of a woman named Joetta Terrell was the principal. And, dude, I'm not kidding you. She was every bit of 5'11", 6 foot tall, so maybe 6'1". When you're a kid, I guess they always seem bigger than they are.
Well, she was big.
But she was a big woman, but she was built like a linebacker, dude. Like she was a lady, but she was a very fit, just corn-fed woman, right?
And she
not
just
fat,
passed
just
away.
Big. Yeah,
a couple years
cancer or something
I
crazy.
Believe so.
Yeah.
No,
but this woman, and she was really a good person. She really was a sweet person.
Mm-hmm.
But she would, no hesitation, to whoop your ass if you needed it, and I needed it. But I was way more afraid of my mother, and my mother made it very clear to me that if I got in trouble at school and it inconvenienced her in any way, it was my ass. Well, that means detention was an inconvenience to her because I was a late bloomer and didn't get my driver's license till I was 18 because I didn't qualify to get them at 16 because you had to have something. You had
to have your permit for amount of time.
And an 8th grade reading test and then something. No, I can't remember what it was, right? And driver's ed or something like that. So I was like, I ain't doing all the bullshit. I'll just drive anyway and then wait till I'm 18 to get my driver's license.
Right.
So that's what I did. So I needed, and I could not drive to school without a license because they cared.
Yep.
And so I could not go to detention because detention meant I either had to walk and I was fat, so that wasn't an option, or I had to have my mom pick me up or a friend. And so I got in trouble, and she told me at the end of the first year I was there, she was like, I want you to know, we've never had like a record like held for this, but I've never had to give swats to anybody else as much as you on your first year here. And I know you're not a bad kid. You just need to pull your head out of your ass. I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. My mom tells me that a lot. I get I'm a good kid. But
Just mouthy.
I was mouthy. I didn't want to turn in homework. I had this aura of like, even though I'm a kid, my time is important. And if I got to do high school homework, that's cutting into my time.
Absolutely.
Stupid.
Yeah.
But and I'll never forget the first, because everybody was so afraid of her. And the first time I got swats,
You going real cocky.
you go in, you just go in like, I'm a badass. Like,
Well,
I ain't gonna let no one whoop my ass. And I remember the first time, she didn't really like hit me that hard, and I was like, oh, bud, we're good, brother. We're solid here. And then the second time I went in there, and I will never forget, I had that, that fight or flight instinct that they talk about. So the first SWAT, because she tells you, you have to pull your shirt up, you have to tuck it in the back of your pants a little bit so she can make sure to see where your ass is. You have to put both hands on the desk, and she makes you read her diploma. Start to read her diploma.
Yeah,
you don't ever get any far into it.
You don't get through the first sentence.
And
but-
she starts at not the first time, the second time, everything that everybody said, I was like, oh, it's true. This sucks. But she gets back by the door, and she gets a couple crow hops in before she gets, a little wind up in. And dude, that first SWAT, the second time I got it, I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna punch her and run. There's no way this woman is gonna hit me again. And dude, it lifted. I remember I was a big boy, dude. I was 250 pounds in high school. It lifted my ass up. Like I felt the relief of gravity on my ankles. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And
We've achieved flight.
It did definitely make me, think before I acted out. And I still did it a lot, but
Well, see, that's what at the elementary school, because Miss Terrell, I graduated with her son, so he was a buddy, and then another buddy, his mom was the principal at the elementary, and so at the elementary, I'd get SWATs all year. My first year there was 6th grade, and I was getting in trouble all the time, and the SWATs were nothing.
Right.
So it was one of them deals where I was like, "Oh, dude, no, cool,
Cakewalk.
keep it coming." And then when I went to the high school, my brain was right on that. This ain't shit. My mom whips me at home with a belt. This other one's nothing. And then, dude, I got him once and was like, oh, hell no. We're good.
So she gave me a pass on the first one. Was all it was. Somehow or another, I struck a chord, and she was like, oh, this is a good kid. He ain't gonna get any trouble again. Yeah, second one, she let me know she's back there.
You know how whenever you guys were getting in trouble at school and your mom already knew before you got home, what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, guess what? My mom was a high school librarian who officed right across from the principal's office.
Oh, no.
So word didn't even have to get home. It just had to go across the hall, bro. Like,
so she probably wouldn't even wait till you got home. She's going to let you,
Yep. I got snatched right out of the hall into the library, door shut. You thought you were supposed to whisper in there? No. Oh, Conan the librarian? We called her Conan. I'm really kidding. I love my mom to death.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
Sure.
But back in the day, I was just trying to get away with everything, and So
no, I needed it. I definitely,
I did too, brother.
I needed it.
For sure.
But I said all that to say the person that was impactful in my life, that didn't happen till later, because I had all these good. I mean, I had some good options of like mentors that I could have really listened to that liked me, and I just chose to not.
Ignore.
I just chose to ignore all of them. We had I had a couple from Union, a couple from Berry House. Like, man, just good people. I got just wanting to pour into my life positively, and I was just so stupid to not listen to it.
Well, me and you we've always had to take the hard route.
Always.
And because mine didn't happen until my buddy that he started his own company. I mean, it was one of those, because at that point I had 2 really young kids. Life got real. I mean, real fast. And because I mean, up until that point, I'd probably had 30 jobs. You know, I'd go because taking care of yourself's nothing. You know, I could survive on at that time $10 a week. You know, in beer, water, and bread.
Little ramen.
And he also, you know, had this affinity for picking terrible women to have kids with. So,
dude, yeah.
He didn't have a. Whoops, that was on air.
It took me a while to find the right one.
There was a point in our life where, you know, he had kids, but baby mama wasn't around. So
It was me
if
and
he
him.
needed help, it was me and him. I watched kids so he could go do something or whatever. They grew up with an Uncle Big that I'm sure these kids were probably like, you know, I was there. I was part of the picture in their young life.
Yeah, we went from partying, having fun to me and him was
Raising kids.
trying to figure out how to raise a couple kids.
What was the?
That's why I waited so long.
What was one with Tom Selleck and them guys back in the day? There was another movie that was going to be way too old for you guys.
No,
to remember.
it was another great one
It was
because
like,
they had a couple of them, like 2 men and a little lady or something.
2.5 men.
Yeah,
something like that.
2 men and a baby or something.
No,
Yes.
that was us for a few years.
Y'all lived it real life.
Yeah, yeah.
Just struck because you know, just like you hear now, like kids don't come with a manual. No, they really don't. And when you also don't have a whole lot of common sense because you're too young to be in this situation, you know, he's like, we were just struggling through it, brother. We were there. We had a few things, little tidbits that picked up on from mom, and that was it. That's what we had.
It was my two oldest. They definitely lived a different life.
Oh yeah,
than their little siblings.
Oh man, look, Birdie, she's got it made in the shade, and she don't even know. She got good mom, good dad around, like all the love and brother sisters in the world.
No, it's kind of fucked up to say it, but we were talking about it. I'm like, dude, she's gonna be the only one not damaged. Like she's got both her parents, and you know she's got a stable. You know everything's like going good and right, and
get home, but get older and be like, I don't know what is wrong with my brother and sister.
right.
They are just stupid.
Well, no, I mean I took my son, my oldest son. Driving yesterday, we're working on getting him his permit.
Oh boy!
And which in my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna basically let him drive over to Walmart, which is like a couple miles away from my house, something like that. And I live in Owasso, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of the neighborhood. I'm gonna get him across the highway, and there's a hospital kind of over there. We're gonna start there. I'm gonna have him park a few times, drive around, just make sure we're good. And this is only the second time that I put him like in a car, and so we're driving, and I'm like, oh shit, like
I made a terrible mistake.
I messed up.
At least the hospital was right there close.
Well, right. It was one of them deals where I grew up driving. I mean, before I could remember.
Oh
yeah,
like
before you could reach the pedals,
dude. Well, I learned how to drive a stick when I was like 11, 12 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
Driving. So my uncle, my aunt, my cousins, they have a farm right between Sand Springs and Prue. And so I spent every summer out there hauling hay, building fences, and running things around. And so I had one of those little like Japanese lift bed trucks, those little itty bitty ones. Yeah. And so I learned to drive stick on that. And my dad, he built like sand rails and dune buggies, and we had dirt bikes, 4-wheelers. Yeah. And so I've been driving forever.
Right.
And so for me, it's just
second nature. Yeah.
Right. And with where we live and where we've lived, we don't have that kind of stuff. So he hadn't really driven like a whole lot, like a 4-wheeler here and there. But
makes sense.
So I'm like, oh, dude, we've got to about every day we got to get out there and spend an hour or two because
he's the kid that is going to want to drive and want to get the hell out of there.
Oh, dude, well he's itching for it, and he's got that drive to go make money and go do stuff, and it's one of them things you can't really push that direction. You can make them work and have responsibilities and chores, but that want has got to come from
his oldest daughter. She doesn't really have that. Maybe now, I don't know. I haven't really talked to you about
it. No, she's just now starting to get it. So my wife's got another girl, and she's our oldest. She's kind of fucked it up for the rest of them because she is such a go-getter. I mean, like she's
good kid, good grades.
Yeah.
already had a couple jobs.
She's got 3 jobs.
Yeah,
she's
the one that sets the curve that we all hated.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, really,
exactly.
And so and we haven't like she got her driver's license. She's going to be 18 near the end of this year. She got her driver's license. She made driver's ed happen for us. Like we've ever had to do is sign the paper and get her somewhere.
Pretty popular.
Right.
Got jobs, just perfect. It's just like you write on paper, like an ideal kid, and she's pretty close to that, right? Then you got the rest of them following that. They're probably like,
oh, they're well, and I've had to explain to them a couple times because like they've like bitched about it at their moms, like, oh, she gets everything, and I'm like, dude, she don't get nothing more than any of y'all get.
Yeah.
She makes the shit happen.
She makes it happen.
Right.
I'm like, in like I started. I got my first paycheck job when I was 14 years old.
Same.
And my parents, they made sure I got to where I needed to go.
Yeah.
I got to my sports and the necessities, but anything extra I had to figure out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was. I mean, I haven't stopped working since I was 14 years old, and. But my buddies, they had parents where they could buy them whatever they wanted and all that shit, and we just didn't have it. So I figured it out, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna have shit. It was my deal.
Yeah.
And
I had when you went to the military and started making all that money, then I didn't have to work and I got to drink for free. So I want to say still, I appreciate that, by the way. I appreciate you helping me be a dirtbag for the few years there.
yeah, we had a run. We had when you join the depending on what your job is. So I joined the Army back in I don't know what 2007 I think
6 or 7 something like that.
And it was one of them deals where I was like working at Kmart, and I was like, I'm not going to college, I'm gonna start working, and you find out real quick nobody really wants to hire you when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Yep. And so I was like, dude, and there was a recruiter station right across from the Kmart I worked at, and so I literally just walked in there, signed up one day on a lunch break because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And
probably the best decision you ever made.
Oh,
Honestly.
dude, yeah, really,
think
yeah.
about it.
But I went 31 Bravo military police, and they gave me a $13,000 sign-on bonus,
Yeah.
and you get most of it when you get out of boot camp. And me and this guy
Gone.
I mean, a couple months.
Yeah.
Burned through that on booze, and food.
Bad decisions.
Yeah. It was got an apartment.
It was a good time.
And, no, it was great. It was a
good time.
It was fun, but yeah,
Learned a lot of life in those few months.
Oh, Keystone Light was in Everclear. That was
it.
in which we don't drink anymore.
We're teetotalers now, but
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
it was
God.
no, it was a good time, but I've got it's summertime now, and so I'm looking for because I tell my kids, I'm like, dude, you guys have an insane amount of opportunity just at your hands every day. Like me and him, we use. Do you ever use ChatGPT?
Dude, don't even get me started. I abhor AI, dude. I'm the age. So when I was a kid that I would go over to my grandparents' house to set the VCR.
Yeah.
That's me now. I need help with this technology these days.
Right.
So yeah, I have not used ChatGPT.
He is the guy that keeps me on it because I'm terrible at it. Like I learn how to use things, and that's it. Like I don't get into the depth of it. Like I figure out what works for me.
Yeah.
And I'll suffer. As long as I know how to do it. Like he'll come in and be like, dude, why aren't you doing this, and this? But with ChatGPT, it's kind of made for dummies. Like honestly,
it really is, yeah.
With mine, and I know I've said it 100 times, but you can turn it on thinking mode, and you can talk to it. So I'll literally just spitball ideas at it. And it'll make up, PDF file spreadsheets. Like everything I can kind of think that I couldn't do on a computer. Like it'll just produce it. And with my kids, I'm like,
Incredible.
dude, you guys can literally pick a lane, decide kind of what you want to do. Like over the summer, you want to make some money. You want to mow yards. You want to do a fucking lemonade stand, whatever.
Anything. Yeah.
You can tell this thing what you want to do, help me get there. Give me a step-by-step process on how to do it, or make me a at-a-glance, sales sheet that I can put on people's doors, and it'll do it in seconds.
Oh, I got no doubt that it will. I'm just like, is this really where we need to go as society?
No, eventually.
know, man.
But we're already there.
I know.
There ain't no backing out now.
No,
Right.
Terminator's happening. It's gone live.
No doubt, man.
So you might as well enjoy it until they got you in
Probably some
shackles.
biblical prophecy as well. I don't know. I think we're there. Unfortunately, I'm just like, well, hell, can't beat him, join him, I guess. Hey, chat, what we got? No, I'm telling you, it is really, especially for you guys like us, right? Like you just heard us. We barely made it through life. We're barely here, and it helps me. And I'm at the point now where I'm actually getting into even more than that. Like I've got Claude, and which is like very more like specific. Like ChatGPT can do a lot, and it can do probably more than I even utilize it for. But then you get things like Claude, which, I mean, I have an idea. Now, I don't know how to make this an app. What do I do? And it starts to code the app for you. And things like write website, write code, like things like that. And then this new one I'm on now, which I was actually going to try to talk to you about this week, because I think you would get a lot of use out of it. It's called Perplexity. It's been around.
That's the one that's all of them.
Use all of them, right?
Yeah.
So I was skeptical because I was like, man, there's no way it's got access to all, all of them. It is a game changer, dude. It's got this new mode called computer mode, where not only will it do things for you and like an assistant, but it will actually take control of your computer and click and do the things for you.
That's
creepy, but super cool. Like really cool.
That's what I would need.
Oh, it's awesome. I've barely dipped a toe in. I've just got ideas that are, I want to see how it manifests them.
Well, that's always what I felt was the thing that
Basically,
separated
I'm going to start
me.
another lab, and I'm going to do it with it. I'm kidding.
Well, right. It's like, because me and you, we can come up with ideas
We're done
all
with
day.
low potencies, brother. No,
right. No, there are no more micro fails.
No more micro
Jesus
fails,
Christ.
109% potency.
All day, baby.
Yeah.
It was funny is I had Matthew made me throw it away, of course, but I had a COA back in the day. He did make me take it down. I had it hanging in my office, but it was from the first. I wouldn't want to say the first, because I guess Fast Labs and Tox Express was around, but
Green Country Scientific.
the first, I would say, lab that got when there was a ton of labs. The first lab that really got the credit for being this is how this works here, huh?
Yeah.
Old GTL. I don't know if you remember them, Genesis.
Vaguely.
Yeah. More of, I guess, they were in Grove, Miami area, somewhere around that.
Gotcha.
So I guess it would have been more annoying for us. We're a little closer, but
yeah.
When I lost customers my first year, it was to them.
Gotcha.
That was it. There was no other lab that I really lost customers to. Was them.
Yeah.
And
well, and you would go, because with them they outsourced most.
They were our biggest customer too. It was like a double-edged sword, because you couldn't say anything to them, because they did at least 3 points of their existence. They did all of their pesticides with us. Right. So they also, in a way, kept us afloat during some of the slower times. So it was super annoying. But I had a COA from a customer that was published. That's what they had given.
Yeah.
And it was pre-metric, but it was a flower. I had a distillate and a flower. The distillate was 107% total cannabinoids, 98 or 7% THC, and I had a flower that was 30 something or 40% THC, 54% total cannabinoids.
Oh, nice.
6 or 8% terpenes. I'm like, what? What?
Looked like a mineral.
Where was the person that clicked OK on this and said, yeah, this looks good?
Maybe ChatGPT did.
Maybe it's been doing more than I thought.
It will tell you wrong.
It will lie to you.
You got to keep it honest.
You guys are talking about all this AI stuff that we kind of got off on there for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think back to it, it's really no different than maybe not you youngsters, but whenever I was in college, how many times did we hear, well, you got to learn how to do this math because you won't have a calculator with you all the time. Well,
you're not going to have. I remember my teachers. You're not going to have a calculator in your pocket when you're at work. Well,
yes, I am.
It turns out we actually had more than
Guess
that.
what?
Yeah.
So
well,
it's just the next calculator in my mind.
100%.
The AI platforms.
That's just something. It's so wild to think about.
And we got that in our pocket now too, right?
Well, you look at it because now, we have a lot of customers who don't speak English, right? And
that's how I started utilizing it. to begin with, was
it's
for translation, for Chinese people.
Well, because there's all those different like apps, for translating.
And they suck.
They're terrible. Well, you use AI, and because if I know I'm pulling up to a client who doesn't speak English, I'll prep it. Be like, hey, dude, I'm pulling up on somebody right now. I need you to help translate. I'm not 100% sure what they speak, but when you hear them, can you help let them know what I'm saying? And I mean,
100%
fluidly, we'll sit there and do like to the point where we've had a lot of people think that it's a real person on the phone that I'm talking to, and it's scary how good it is. Because it is great, and it's only gonna get better. But we come from the age that we are. I remember. In junior high or like elementary school, we got our first set of the green computers. There was a little green tone.
The monochrome.
Yeah. They had
Snake, where you could.
Or Number Munch was a deal they had on there. Oregon's Trail.
Yeah.
And I mean, because by the time we got out of high school, I mean, we didn't there wasn't a Facebook yet. There wasn't Facebook was right after. Yeah, you're right. Maybe MySpace, but there wasn't YouTube wasn't a thing yet.
Not really, no.
But I mean, shoot, since we've been adults, I mean, things have blown up. I know my kids, they all have a tablet that gets issued to them, right? And they don't teach cursive anymore. I think that's more of an elective deal you want to do. And I'm because I remember being I grew up out in right next to Los Angeles, and my dad worked at the Dodger Stadium when I was a kid, and so I got to hang out behind the scenes a lot of the times, waiting on him to do whatever he's doing, and we'd have season tickets, but we'd be kind of back in the cages with everybody else, and after games I'd watch all these players like Mike Piazza, Eric Karros. These guys would be signing autographs. And that's how I got my signature is ridiculous because I got it from watching these guys sign balls in church for these people, and I was stoked to learn cursive just so I when I got my very first ID I could do my I'm gonna be famous signature one day.
You write prescriptions and stuff,
right? Yeah.
Well, and I've seen because nowadays since they're not really doing cursive, the signature is their printed name. And I'm that. It's weird. You know what I mean? It's
very weird, dude.
Well, and now you're moving over to you're gonna have a digital signature, or and so you can actually instead of knowing how to do any of it, you can make it look however the heck you want to make it look, and just type your name in.
It's already a thing. It's just gonna start becoming more automatic, I guess, or more known that this is how we do it.
Yeah, I'm filling some stuff out these days on DocuSign
all the time.
It's do you want to use your real signature? Do you want to draw it, or do you want to type it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can draw it with a mouse, but it ain't very pretty.
Right.
Look at that. I can type my name, and wow, I've got perfect penmanship now.
Do you think? And this is this gets deep. We don't have to get as deep, but when we were kids, we'd always you always heard at some point they're just going to be putting chips in us all, blah blah blah.
You're right. The mark of
well, of course, you go with the biblical prophecy of that as well, right? But then you start looking at what's technology, bro. It's already a thing. There's already countries that have it, implemented in some way. It's not forced.
You talking about Neuralink?
Well, no, not Neuralink. That's even deeper.
Crazy.
But I'm talking about so you gotta think we have RFID technology in our phones right now, right? I use Tap Pay all the time, right? Same concept, but they have a chip they put in their hand or wrist or whatever, and they just that's how you pay for things. It's easier, it's convenient because you don't forget it at home. But now there's been people make programs of identification and everything that comes via a computer chip basically. That's I don't know if the Christians, thank God, would be hey, let's not do that, or if that will become, the minority and people would be yeah, more convenience, let's just do it, Do you think we see in our time where some sort of computer chip or something implanted takes over, showing, having to pull out your wallet to show ID or purchase things?
Oh, I could see it.
Well, I wouldn't put it past. I mean, I don't think it's.
You've got
what's it? Outlandish.
It's not VR, but it's the AR. AR.
Oh,
so
like augmented reality.
Yeah. So like that, it seems like it's blowing up right now, and
Sure,
you're gonna have the situations where there's gonna be a lot of like augmented. So with VR, you put a headset on, and you step into a whole different world,
and you don't see anything in the normal world. Like it's just a full video screen, and AR is like mixed, kind of like, so you're
in the world,
right? You see a camera and you see things, but then it also digitally adds layers.
Okay.
And so I know the answer. I'm not even gonna say it.
I have messed with the VR headset before.
I'll be damned. Okay, I was about to say. So
I have messed with that. Like, you walk out on the plank and you're about to fall over. And
the plank,
like,
the plank game. Yes.
I've got a hold of the couch, trying to keep from.
No, it's terrifying, honestly.
Trying to keep the floor from falling out from underneath me. Yeah, I've been there.
I play VR poker.
Okay.
At least 4 or 5 nights a week.
Really?
It's my dude. I love poker. I play golf and stuff on there too. It's fun, but like the poker, it's good.
Okay.
It's fun. It's addicting. I don't
get
play video
dizzy.
games anymore, so it's just like it's my video game, I guess. Can't, for some reason, I don't know why, but my old lady does not find me attractive when I'm playing video games. So.
You're wearing the big headset.
So I'm sure the step up from holding the Xbox controller to the full on headset.
That'll do it for
talking.
her. That'll do it for her.
Well, you got because right now the big scare is all these jobs that are going to get lost with where things are moving, and
I don't buy it.
Well, it's already happening in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the big like tech companies have laid off a bunch of people because they can. You don't need a human for everything.
Fair,
and you think about like if you're going through like McDonald's. I think where AI's at right now today, it could very well take orders.
Shit, yeah, probably better, honestly.
Right,
being honest. Yeah.
But
I'll never advocate
and not
for
forget
it.
the apple pie, right?
I'll never advocate
Right.
for it, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, this wouldn't be the end of the world if that happened.
well, and with what like I mean, we do like. I don't think. No. I think we'll be amongst the last.
I think,
honestly,
you got certain roles that like. You don't have to worry about a computer
we put the human touch on
Right.
what our laboratory does anyway, because and we've kind of talked this to death in a lot of ways, but when you have the cannabis industry in Oklahoma, and then when you actually like meet the lab staff. There is a disconnect between like the actual like owner operators of a lot of these processors, grows,
especially when you have a good lab. I mean, just being honest with you kind of the way I look at it, should I say,
not the most people social, which you need the beautiful mind types.
Yep, 100%.
But when you do have that great side of it on the science side, a lot of the times. Which you seem to kind of like bridge this gap in a lot of ways.
Very well, actually.
But we've had people that we trust to keep us afloat, but we would never put them in a room with some of our top customers.
No shot.
For sure.
Very too honest, shot. Or I don't know if that's the right way to say it.
Or just the social, like not understanding like full social cues and like what you can and shouldn't say. You know what I mean?
Right. There's been a lot of times where we've had, whoa,
hey, easy there, Haas, calm down.
Let us do that part. Yeah.
Well, let's break that news. Let me handle that. Let me tackle that one.
Yeah, bridging the gap from science to real world, and how do you apply the results you're getting from a scientific measurement. I mean, I've always tried to take a common sense approach to it. Is it scientifically accurate? And second of all, okay, it looks scientifically accurate, but does it make real world sense? Right. As in, i.e., we got 187% cannabinoids. Well, we all know that you can't have more than 100% of anything. Yep. So I've always just tried to take a common sense approach to trying to mesh the science and the real world application of that scientific data is how I've always tried to approach it, whether it be environmental measurement, cannabis measurement, whatever. That's really how I've tried to approach it.
Well, you seem like you've got some tact to you.
Well,
I may come off polished and well spoken, but trust me, I want to let it fly sometimes.
There are some intrusive thoughts that may be happening if he's being polished.
No, I'm halfway joking. I appreciate the kind words. I don't know that that's always the case, but I do try to. I care, you know what I mean? I try to care
right.
about people, first of all, and then I truly care about the data that we're generating as collectively as a scientific community, I want it to be as accurate as it possibly can. I mean, we all know that if I hand baby Brandon a tape measure and tell him to measure this room, and I take that same tape measure and calculate the volume based on what my measurements are, we're going to get a different number.
You're right,
it's going to be pretty close, just like it should be between OKCTL, Baseline Labs, any other lab in the state. It should be somewhat comparable. And I would like to say, in some stuff that we've done lately, most of the time it seems between some of us, we're pretty close.
Pretty damn close. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of variance, but like, I'm talking like, dude, especially some of the stuff we've done lately, which I don't, and I'm sure you probably, especially since we've been here for however long and not talked about anything important. I'm sure you haven't watched, but I don't have a lot of good things to say about a lot of labs prior. Not so much about certain labs now. I try to just
it's
not
gotten
say
a lot
anything.
better.
Not only do I just like get by with Baseline, I you know this, but myself, Shane, Matthew, we respect the shit out of you and Baseline. And as far as we're concerned, there is no other lab that we would ever, I would probably not even, I'd even go far as to say, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have another lab on, but there's a few that I wouldn't have on. But I don't have any urge to work with or do anything like that with outside of like industry standard stuff, you know what I mean? But like on a personal level, like you're good people. We can just tell. I've said several times on the show, like, hey, if we piss you off and you're going to go anywhere, at least go to Baseline. So you're getting good service and you're getting a good, accurate result.
Well, that's the most important thing to us.
That's the important thing to us.
Whether your personality meshes with us or not,
100%.
It's really easy for me and him, because we've had to fight this battle for years. But it's really easy to find out if the main goal is actually putting out real numbers, like what that it doesn't matter if it's going to make you money or lose you money. Putting the truth of it out 100%. There should be the most important part. Yeah. And I mean, especially a few years ago, it was all too common for a client to have like a negative result of what they weren't expecting, and you could hop somewhere else, and all of a sudden that's gone.
Now you're getting exactly what you expected.
Right. Yeah. And that's the stuff that we don't. We've got haters out there, and say what you will, but
sure.
The lab that we represent, the most important thing is putting out accurate data. Like that's the bottom line. Putting out safe, tests and accurate tests, and then wherever the pieces kind of fall, that's where me and him got to pick it up and clean it up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And thank you for the kind words there.
Dude.
I mean, I appreciate it.
I meant it 100%.
And honestly, the sentiments are the same with you guys. I think you guys know that as well. I'm not just coming on here to blow smoke and pump you guys.
You
up
don't
and
seem like
fluff
you're much of a smoke blower.
I'm really not. But anyway, I truly have enjoyed the interaction with you guys, both as sales staff for OKCTL, as well as the friendship that we've developed over the last
100%.
however long we've known each other. And I would say that the sentiments, I'd echo the same sentiments with you guys.
We've had a big pride issue, never wanting to outsource a sample. Well, like we had that big, we call it the dark days, but 2.5 years ago, we had, I won't say, well, we had an incident that was similar. It was in pesticides, and basically we had a new team come in, new lab director, one go out, another one come in, and something had happened at that moment that caused us to not be able to run pesticides for a while. Now, I'm not going to say anybody did it, but magically the methodology from the pesticide instrument was erased. Don't know how that could have happened. I shouldn't say erased. It could have just grew legs and walked out of the computer board. Don't know. Anyways, and so we had no pesticide department for
that was right before I was here.
That's right. It was almost 2 months, like right out of a month to 2 months, and we didn't really have any relationships with other labs. A couple that we were friendly with, talked to, but all we had seen was what we had through instance like that. Like, there's no way that's got pesticides in it. Take the same thing or transfer the reserve, right? And then all of a sudden it's clean, non-detect, something like that. And it's like, bullshit. No way, right? Yeah. So we refused to outsource samples. Now, looking back on it, maybe with the brain we had now on the way it looked right, but we had at that time, we had, we'd been trying to do stuff to work with OMA and,
sure.
So we just weren't interested on our samples going somewhere that was going to effectively maybe not have the right answer that we would have liked to have saw. So we just didn't do anything.
And that struggle was real for a while.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The first time, and I mean the first time, we've had people want to transfer their reserves out. Fine, that's on you, whatever.
Yep.
But we've never outsourced a sample until the first time we outsourced those samples to you.
Yep.
And I can speak for Matthew here, no problem, because we've had long talks about this. There is not another lab, given the circumstances right now, that we would ever outsource a sample to and trust to have to carry that on our COA. No shot. It just wouldn't happen. And I'm not saying there's not other labs that wouldn't do a good job.
Sure.
We just don't. We don't have the knowledge of the relationship to trust it.
Yeah.
So that should say, not that we're some big shit or anything, but we care enough to.
We don't want bullshit numbers
right,
out
for
there.
sure.
And care enough.
And I think at this point, I mean, whether it was from you guys transferring a sample to us or us transferring a sample to you, or if it happened organically where somebody they took a sample here to you guys and there's no way
they didn't swap it.
Yeah, there's no way that was real, so they brought us a sample. And I think we've seen time and time again how close we actually agree on pesticides,
very close,
potencies, terpenes.
Well, that's how true science is ultimately done. You take a method or a hypothesis and you run it and you come up with what you get, and then somebody else, with no dog in the fight, they run it. And if you're swimming in the same pool there,
it's gonna be real close.
I'm the guy that's always been like, and I know this has happened to you guys too. Just the nature of being in the testing business. I know you guys have had somebody come and say, "Hey, here's a sample. I need to get that tested. Oh, by the way, do you want to know where it should be?"
Right.
No, I don't want to know where it should be because I'm going to tell you where it is.
You get, hey, it needs to be this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and that's always a good, a great way to start a relationship.
Yeah.
And because that's one thing that we really, take pride in. It was like, we don't want to be just a transactional laboratory.
No.
If you've got a problem, we've probably seen it. We probably help you through it. But anytime which nowadays it's a lot less likely to happen.
Yeah.
But still every now and then it's like, oh, dude, we're not the lab for you.
Mm-mm.
Like I want to make it very clear from the very before you spend any money with me.
Yeah.
There's not a dollar amount that you're going to give us that's going to get you there. Like if it's not there, it's not going to be there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I promise you, we're going to tell you where you're at. And if you're having like safety issues or safety fails, like we want to help you figure it out.
We will invest with you, as in discounts. I've had people that we've done free tests on that have tested with us that ran into an issue.
Same.
And I'm not kidding you, we've taken the time to drive out there, no cost to them, run a couple tests on the environment or whatever, just to help dial in where the problem's coming from. Just to help, because ultimately we don't want you to fail. It doesn't do anything good for us. It honestly, it screws us when you fail, because we don't charge you outside of micro. We don't, and that was only because people used to use the micro retest as a lottery, right?
Yeah.
But if you fail pesticides or something like that, we don't charge you to run the reserve. We do it for you at no cost. So I don't really want you to fail, because I don't want to do a free test.
Well, and then you jump somewhere else,
right?
No
benefit.
It only hurts us because there's a lot of like outraged egos in our little world, and I've had sometimes like man, did you guys do this to me? Are y'all trying to sabotage me? And it's like, dude. It would only benefit me if you hit the numbers you were expecting to hit and you were passing every time.
Right.
Like that's how we make money on commission, right? So when you're failing, it ultimately creates more work for me and him because we got to try to help you figure out the problem if you're willing. And I mean, especially
I love
micro.
that you threw in the if you're willing.
Well, and that's
real.
a lot of the time. It's because if you're willing, like if you like genuinely want to try to fix the problem, like there's a solution. Like it might not 100%. Be what you want to hear, and it might actually take some effort and money and time, but the ones that are willing, I'll spend all the time in the
all
world
the time
with
in the
you,
world.
no matter how many samples you're sending me.
100%.
Like if you want to fix the problem, I'm here, dude, and I can help you. And we've got a dang good team out there where there's so many different experts in their own lanes that we can really bounce off them and get you somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
But if the answer is we're dumbasses and we don't know what we're doing and we're wrong, cool, man. Like cool. Yeah,
appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, we've done it a bunch. Done a bunch of R&D testing for just yeast and mold to help people identify where is the source of this contamination coming from. We can show them, hey, this is the step that it's being introduced in. Yeah, we don't like your results. We're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, and ultimately, because I've let a lot of people know too. I'm like, and I say this too much, but I'm like, nobody's married to anybody in this world.
Sure.
Like everybody's doing what they got to do to survive, and we understand. Every batch you send in is such a big deal. Like nobody,
for a lot of people, it's a big deal.
Most people are
maybe life
living
and death,
right, and so we get it, dude. But I'm not scared to be anybody's second look either. Like if you've got to send all this one way, but you need a second look sometimes, dude, we're gonna be here.
We'll be here,
Well, I just had a customer that left us a while back, and it was one of them deals where the actual money of the operation was like, nope, you're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then went somewhere else, and the problem didn't just disappear.
Magically, what do you know?
Right. Well, now, because it was one of them deals, I'm like, we're going to be around. If you want to actual work through the problem, we'll sit down, we'll get you there. And now they're like actually the powers that be in that world are willing to listen and invest the money and
sometimes that's all it takes is they just need to hear it from someone else, and then they're willing to struggle through it. But and I'm not. That goes back to the industry as a whole, and I'm not going to say OMA, but I mean, let's be honest. We've been allowed to have labs get by with whatever for so long that you can't blame people for expecting to just go try elsewhere and get a better result. It's like this should have never been allowed to begin with, but I ain't gonna get down that path there. I'll tell you what.
Well, and when
you're
not
start on that, woo, he's making me fired up. I'm drinking green tea all day. What? No.
Well, they're almost open, right? The QA lab aren't we close? We've been close for years.
I was going to say I've been told 4 different dates. I think officially was the last time we were September, right?
Which that
November?
in itself is terrifying.
I'm not sure anymore.
I just don't.
From my perspective, because when you before I ever stepped foot in this lab, I've been in the industry since 2018. If you don't understand how it works, I mean, how could you, right? And we try to explain that in a lot of ways, but a lot of people will look at it as black and white. When you guys have said a few times, there's a little bit of a variance. We're dealing with parts per million, parts per billion.
Yep.
So the answer is not always black and white, and you're dealing with an organic matter that's forever changing from the moment it pops out of the seed till you concentrate it or wherever, and depending on light, temperature,
a million different factors.
Right.
Lots of variables.
It's always changing. And so trying to kind of make sense of it all, we're really fighting from behind. But now, it's 2026. Everybody who's alive right now, has been through the ringer. And I think now more than ever, our customers are a lot more willing to listen and really kind of understand and either fix the problems or fine tune it. How about speaking for yourself? Do you feel like the industry as a whole is kind of leveled up in a sense?
So what I kind of feel like, just from the 30,000 foot view, looking at everything, to me it seems like, and I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a good or bad thing. I'm not prescribing to or ascribing to one of them being the correct answer, one of them not being. But I mean, you kind of alluded to the fact that OMA's had a big hand in the way the industry has kind of progressed. And I mean, if we look around right now, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we were doing a lot of testing for mom and pops that were growing flower out of their garage, for lack of a better term, as a commercial grower. You know, a lot of that is been eliminated in my mind.
Few and far between.
So it's really just, to me, it's the natural progression of the industry as a whole, just like you would expect from. I mean, if you look at petroleum, for example, I mean, we really only have, I'm not saying there's not some small players out there in petroleum, but it's really just the law of attrition, where bigger companies gobble up the smaller companies, if they even, continue to exist or not.
Right.
There's a lot of that, I feel like, that's transpired in the last several years, and it's more evident today than it has ever been. If you look at the number of grow licenses or processor licenses that OMA still states are active, I mean, the number is continually gone down, and I believe there's even a graphical representation of that on OMA's website at a place. I'd have to look for it, but I think there's actually a graphical representation of the number of licensees.
It's definitely felt like, I think I would speak for a lot of people in the industry when I would say it feels like that it was intentional. I don't know if it was, right? I got my opinions. I got my opinions on it, but
it feels like to me that at the state level, the state's tried to squash it lately. And I'm not just speaking on what our governor's had to say in the last 6 months, but I mean, it feels that way, and that's just a feeling of mine. Not necessarily. I don't really have anything hard facts to base it on that the Oklahoma government is trying to squash cannabis at this point, but it feels that way to me.
It's definitely felt. Obviously, a lot of people would say that it's felt that way, felt intentional.
Well, we know on the like the laboratory side specifically, like our numbers have, I mean, in the last 9 months, we've lost a third of our peers.
Brother, at one point, first year I was here, it was like, I want to say it was 34 or 37 labs licensed. I don't know how many were active.
I don't remember it ever being that many. It could have been. 26 is the number that comes to my mind. I know we got to 26 or 7, but it could have been in the 30s.
I feel like it was in the 30s.
It could have been.
I feel like we were.
There was like 10 or 15 in Tulsa alone. Like when I was running Keith Cola, I tried just about every lab in Tulsa, and there was, several. I had options, and really. Transparent, OKCTL, and Green Country.
Then you had a second Green Country.
Well, there was a Green Country, I think, Scientific, and then Green Country, which they were, doing environmental for a long time before.
That's right. Yeah, there still are.
Yeah. No, they're great. Shout out Miss Janet. She's wonderful. And because I had known them, they kind of like saved me on the very first like real round of testing that we sent out, because I looked up.
You may be the only person that ever said that.
Well, I mean, here they always treated me great.
100%.
They took care of me, and they were
you were one of those, huh?
No, they put out they weren't doing no bullshit numbers from my experience,
right.
But no, I was recommended to them from somebody, and so I found this Green Country. I think it was Scientific was the one, and my stuff got locked up with them for a month and a half, and at the time, everybody thought we were going to be billionaires in this. So I had a board of owners that I had to answer to, and they told me about a week I'd get the results back, and this is our very first round of products. We're trying to hit the market. And they just kept bullshitting me and telling me, give us another day or two, we'll get it. So much so it got to the point where, I was sitting in their parking lot, like, I'm gonna drive my goddamn truck through this fucking door if you don't give me my shit back. Like, because I had people. My livelihood was on the line, and I'm looking like an asshole. 4 or 5 times in a row, the people I've got to answer to, they're starting to lose faith in me.
Yeah.
And come to find out, the person that recommended me had recommended me over to the other one. Didn't even know this one existed. And
no.
And this is, I got to learn the hard lesson of they had no equipment at the one I sent my stuff to.
Oh, they were outsourcing.
They were outsourcing everything.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a complete scam deal, and so then I made another round of tests, sent it to the other Green Country, and they got it within a week, and got me going. But it was one of those. It was I couldn't fucking because I didn't. It was so new. I mean, this is 2018. Like I think sliding into 19, and I didn't know anything. I was just completely at the mercy of what they were telling me, and so got through that. And then,
that right there is how a lot of labs got a good or bad reputation. Is just because of that, because there was people in cannabis were just not used to. First of all, a lot of cannabis business owners were not business owners at all before cannabis because
right.
$2,500 and a freaking prayer, and you were a business owner all
That's
of a sudden.
it.
And then you have people who are likely not regulatory minded because they're stoners. Let's be real.
Right.
And
right.
then you have somebody that is what? So hold on. My livelihood, my potential revenue depends on you, and I got to wait for you. And then, it's like, and I've talked about this so many times too. And I wish, obviously, you can't change the narrative. You can absolutely stand on business and just be what it is, and then hope that the industry picks up with it. But think of another industry, and you were in environmental, so you have one. And I don't know about environmental, but from what I understand, and from just talking to like my doctor and things like that, there's not another like analytical laboratory industry where turnaround time is even a factor, not even a part of the equation. Like, at least in medical is the way I understand. Because you go to the doctor, you get your blood drawn. Your doctor isn't waiting and calling the lab like, hey man, are you going to get me the results? Like, I don't know if this guy's going to have cancer or not. Like, no, you don't really give a shit. You just want the answer to be right when it gets there, so you can bank on it. And I don't know if that is the thing with all laboratories, but
there are for sure some instances where environmental concerns are rushed, and we need an expedited turnaround on some stuff. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got somebody with a holding tank or a pond or whatever they're needing to discharge, and you got a storm bearing down on us like it might be this evening. They got to get this water out of there somehow. So yeah, there's some instances where, and I'm not trying to burst your bubble or nothing, but there are some instances where it's absolutely viable that, hey, we've got to have this expedited. We need it tomorrow or yesterday. And one of the other things that kind of brings me to a point that I've kind of always said, I've probably said this for the last 15, 20 years, that I would rather be late with a report and right
100%
than early and wrong.
110%.
And I'll stand by that I'll stand on that hill till I die.
110%.
Yeah.
Well, especially you as the business owner, right? Because I'd rather you be upset with me but have the right result than me have to stand in court next, and defend how this happened,
Well, that's it. And
110%.
Whether you're talking about environmental, petroleum, cannabis testing, whatever, I always approach it with the mindset of, hey, someday I could have to defend this in court.
Yeah.
And I want to be 1,000% certain that I've got the data to back up what we did, why it's correct, why it's valid. Cross my T's, dot my I's, and that's how we approach everything, whether it's environmental, cannabis, petroleum, it doesn't matter.
The day did come for us. We did have to stand in court and defend
right.
Yeah, we had, they had the big, obviously I'm not going to talk about it again. I'm going to talk about it at least 8 times in this, I ain't going to bring them up again. But there was a situation where people were bringing in people's products, testing them, may or may not have turned into a pretty big ordeal. May or may not have been Graves Farm. Don't know. But one of the people that this group of people were testing their products, and they had some stuff that were brought to us. They never, they didn't send it. Patients brought it in, and some of it. One person in particular, is like, with the exception of like a lotion and one cart, everything failed, and it all had passing COAs, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another customer that had stuff brought in, and almost everything they had brought in had passed this patient test, but there was like 2 or 3 that was just a scotch over the line on pesticides, which, here's the thing. I don't freak out when I see that kind of stuff, because I understand, like, if the original COA has any trace amount in it whatsoever, and now I've got something brought in, and it's barely over the passing limit, yeah, it's for sure it's not good, right? But also,
it's real likely that it'll be barely under the federal limit too. So
exactly, anything could happen. Once again, organic material here, and also variants. Just you can be as good at a lab as you want to, but you're never going to be 100% on the dot. Like if Jesus Christ himself would have analyzed it and told you what was in it with the all-knowing power, you're never going to be on that number every single time. There's variance in everything, right? But that variance should be real small if you're good at what you're doing.
It should be very small. And the other thing that you guys, I don't know that anybody really ever has talked about, or I've never really heard anybody else talk about it, but we are aware of it in some instances where, those pesticides that are on the list of, actionable compounds at the state level, do they have a half-life? They don't remain at the same concentration forever because they break down over time.
Yes, okay.
And I don't know if anybody's ever really talked about that, but we've looked at some stuff like that at Baseline where, and I'd have to go back and look at the raw data and stuff, but we've done it where we've had a sample that failed for let's just arbitrarily say malathion.
Sure.
So say we had a sample that failed for malathion, maybe it was barely. We went back and tested it, say, a month later, and it was barely under. And we've got no reason to question the fact.
Sure.
It's not like we're hitting trying to hit a moving target.
Sure.
There's no doubt in my mind that the data proves that is degrading over time.
Yeah.
And it's
kind
of interesting.
Yeah.
And what's funny is also is now granted we're not smoking produce, right? But you look at some of the numbers that the FDA, or not FDA, but the
Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agri allows in, it's
tomatoes.
A whole lot of fruit you can go buy at Walmart, bring to either of us. We're failing it on a cannabis standpoint because
absolutely.
And I get it, I don't know. I've never dove into the science behind how is smoking it different than ingesting it. I know that it's probably likely that you can ingest a whole lot more pesticides than you would want to vaporize and inhale in your lungs, but it's and
it's medicine. So it's got to be.
Well, you've got to look at it right.
110%.
I know. Shit. Me and him. The amount of brick weed we smoked back in the day. I promise it'd have failed everything.
Everything.
We made it.
I found some fingernails in it. I think I might have found a finger one time. You found the finger that was attached to the nail. Yeah. No, it's I'm glad that I'm definitely glad that the industry is maturing. If only we could just get everybody that's left on the same page, or even help, even just in the same book, that would be great. And I get on rants a lot about the industry associations and things like that. And one of the things that we respect a lot about you, and kind of what's, I guess you'd say, accelerated our relationship, is that you're involved in all the same, you're there to, you're a smaller lab. You're not a one-man show, but you're the guy at your lab, right? Like you're the boss. You're the one that's in charge of things running there, and you find time to devote to making the industry, or to try to make the industry better, and that's respectable, because a lot of people, especially on a smaller lab, or if they're the the one that's, it's your money and it's your livelihood, you're taking time away to do it. A lot of people won't do that because for one reason or another. So that's commendable.
Well,
and
first of all, I've got a really good crew at Baseline Laboratories. So
true.
They can bowl.
They can bowl.
Well, yeah, that's right.
They're pretty good at that science stuff too, but they can't bowl.
But I truly have a crew there that I truly can take some time to come do a podcast with my boys from OKCTL.
And that's huge.
I can take some time to go to a PCA meeting on Tuesday night if I need to, if whatever. I've got that liberty with the crew that I have, because I'm not saying the whole show runs itself, and I'm not that important to the whole show,
Well, crap, that sunk our idea, Shane. We weren't really friendly with you. We were just hoping if we get you away from there, we could get you out.
That's it.
Write a couple of them SOPs down.
But what I would also add to that is, you kind of alluded to the fact that, I am trying to be present in some of those realms, and dude, I try to apply this to my marriage. I try to apply it to my relationship with you guys. I try to apply it to the whole cannabis industry. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
But communication is key. And
man.
Even we talk about the scientific community and how our knowledge base that we can share, and we can learn so fast when we, feed off of each other and learn from each other. There's stuff that you guys have taught us just in like communications when we were doing those round tables and stuff with the MMA way back in the day. I don't know why they don't do them anymore, but that's neither here nor there.
I had that on my notes. I was going to ask, like, what happened to the
those would be great.
Yeah, for sure. But all I was trying to say is communication to me is key, and it's the way that we all learn and the way we all advance the industry as a whole. It's invaluable what we can learn from each other.
It is. And going to the EAC stuff, you've been to a few of them.
I have.
Or I think you've been to all the ones we've been to. Probably some of the ones we haven't. But I love the fact that it's a thing, right? I appreciate the idea behind it. I would definitely like to see more from it, I guess you could say. And I'm not trying to just find stuff to gripe about, but we've had, actually, I'm just gonna shoot straight. Shit. My understanding is the EAC was created to help bridge the gap of communication, especially between the OMMA and the industry association, and sure, even the rest of the state, if you will. But that has, well, in my opinion, it's freaking flopped miserably, because we've got, we've had 2, maybe 3 people asked to leave or booted off, however you want to say it. So now we've got 2 more people added back on. I don't know if you've heard about this yet. So one of my very best friends, the mentor that you told about your mentor, I would say my mentor, guy that I met later in life after I already had family, that I was going through some stuff in my relationship, and I was just, I was one of those guys who was bitching, I'm like, man, what's wrong with these damn women, what I mean? This guy was a guy that goes to my church, and he's like in the cannabis industry, and he's like, just kind of took me in under his wing, I didn't have a dad growing up, so he kind of became that positive role model to kind of like help me bring and center it back to God, and kind of like, kind of smack me on the ass and tell me how I was stupid and do better.
Yeah.
Made a lot of difference for sure. But he is actually a dispensary owner in Sapulpa, and great man, but he got selected to join the AC, so he will be there, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
He'll the next EAC he'll be present at.
No, he's a good one. He's very intelligent.
Very intelligent guy. Very, just, man, he's a 10 out of 10. But they have another new member. Have you heard about it?
Don't guess so.
Okay, so we got real lucky, because one of the members of the EAC is a sheriff in Oklahoma City. We got real lucky because he's a great dude. Seems to be. Like, he doesn't seem to be a guy that just wants to kill cannabis. He's got his freaking notepad out. He's taking notes. He's listening. He's very kind guy.
Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I get it. I've had friends. I've had family members that have been cops. You definitely see people change when all they deal with all day is negative. Plus, everybody in the world hates them, right?
Yeah.
So this whole cop attitude or cop persona, it's a real thing. He seems to be a guy that just does not have that. Maybe he does, I don't know, but he's been real good at hiding it, but seems to be a great dude. Well,
I agree from what I've seen.
We have now another sheriff that is going to be on the EAC. And I could even go as far as to say I could understand why one sheriff would want to be there. I could understand how a rancher or something like that would want to be there when it comes to how things affect, what the cannabis waste and cannabis things are going to affect farm life and all that. Sure, I get that. But where the hell is the representation for the cannabis industry on that? We've had 2, 3. That we had Katie Neal, who, hater, lover, whatever, she was the only person, in my opinion, that seemed to like try to represent patients in any way, shape, or form. And she's no longer there. She got asked to leave. She got booted off. I don't know if you heard about that. Then you've got a dispensary / processor owner who was asked to leave, booted off. There's one more there that is a dispensary in small town. Like
it's Kind Love, right?
Kind Love, yeah. Well, Kind Love is not there anymore.
That's the one that
they were removed. The guy that Randy owned Kind Love.
What's the
one that's there now that's still on is I'm drawing a blank on his name. But it's Seed and F5 Cannabis.
That's what. Yeah.
Seed
F5.
Cannabis and very nice dude. And I I think I apologized for it the day the week.
No, they have a great team.
I had heard a rumor that he was actually leaving or stepping down, and then Bonnie, who works for him, me and him went to school. Great person, quiet as hell. I never would have guessed that she would be someone that listens to the show because she's so mild and like quiet. And she's like, "Yeah, listen to every episode. Y'all are just crazy. Y'all need to shut the hell up." No.
Bonnie get wild.
Yeah, for sure. She's probably like, "Shut up."
right.
No, but she actually messaged me. She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "That's a rumor. He ain't leaving." So he is not.
They were one of the first companies, like before Metric, before. People were held accountable. They wouldn't just bring anybody into their they would tour your facility.
They weren't bringing your product into their shelf without them touring your facility. Like they were like, we don't want to know how you do it as far as like steal your ideas, but we want to make sure it's all in Oklahoma and it's being done properly because we actually believe the shit that all y'all say. We actually live it here, and we want to make sure this stuff is good. And I remember. Like, I couldn't even utilize the relationship with Bonnie to get my product on the damn shelf.
They had a self-imposed standard. Yep. That like commendable, genuinely. Which I've never met the owner, but I would imagine if that's how his operation works.
I can't believe I'm sitting here. He's got a very unique name, and I'm just totally blanking on his name. And I had it. I've said it on the show probably 5 times.
Because we've had the list too. But
anyways,
I know who you're talking about, and I can see his face, and I've got his number on my phone, I believe, but I cannot remember.
So
his name
he's still there, and he's a representation of the cannabis industry.
Yep.
And then now we have Steve, who's a representation of the cannabis industry. In my opinion, because obviously, OMA didn't pick who's going to be there, but they damn sure have the power to make them go away.
So I've got to ask, the ones that have been removed, how were they removed?
By Adria Berry.
Because those are appointed positions.
And with her being in charge of it, I would thought the same thing you were thinking.
Well,
she has the right, apparently, because nobody stopped it, to tell them goodbye.
Interesting.
And that has what's happened every single one. I know with Randy, I know with Katie, and I guess that's the only ones I know.
So as far as, in my opinion, the EAC, like you said originally, it's a great idea.
Phenomenal.
And one of the last meetings I actually went to, and maybe I've gotten too busy because I've kind of forgot to keep tabs on them and when the next one is, and they don't do a great job of advertising those.
I think that's by design.
Some
would say that's by
design. Some would say that.
Yeah.
But one of the meetings I went to at the EAC there was a lot of discussion, and they agreed to allow not just the 6-member panel to commentate or give their opinion or their thoughts, but they were supposed to open it up.
They put that into play. Now, 10 people, the first 10 to sign up, of the public, whoever, can sign up and speak.
Okay.
On the day of.
Yeah. You can show up on the day of.
Okay.
Get there early if you want to, it just depends on who was there.
We need 10?
10 only, right?
Okay.
The first 10 that signs up gets to speak.
And the room's open, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, but you're not allowed, they will not entertain any sideline chatter at all. My boy, they shouldn't allow it. If it's they're doing a business meeting, so as they should. But yeah,
my boy Rick Towers came in on the last one. He came in a little late.
Yeah,
he starts trying to holler, and they were like, "Hey man,
shut up." Yeah,
yeah. Which the next one is July 17th.
Yes,
at 9 a.m. at the Capitol. So July 17th.
We will be there. Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
Uh-huh.
But. And this is my opinion, and I think it's got to happen. I mean, honestly, because it is a great idea. And whoever started that build or to start that, kudos, clock it, whatever the kids say nowadays. Great job. We've got to, and it wasn't going to happen this last session, so I was told that it just wasn't going to be a thing that happened this last session, election season, and they flat ass said, hey, we're going to see 200 bills, and that's it, and don't try to sneak another one past us. Next session... We should definitely try to somebody should get together, and I think maybe OCI is maybe already talking about it, but somebody needs to carry a bill to edit that. And I think there needs to be at least one representative of every license type on that panel, and maybe 2 or 3 for a patient, or maybe 2 of each license or whatever. And then however many extra, if you want someone from the farm industry, cool, got one already, right?
Well, and the sheriff's
you want a sheriff? Great, giddy up. I get it. Y'all need to be up to date with the rules and stuff. But what
he doesn't know anything, and like he's has a great attitude. He seems like a really, I mean, like he wants to know, and he's asking the questions, but he's asking the questions that we were asking, 8 years ago.
I don't understand the benefit of him being there, and I'm not great guy. Once again, think it's awesome. I just don't understand. It seems like the reason the EAC was formed was for something else, and it seems like the path it's heading towards is just unsure.
I've read the criteria for, I actually tried to get appointed to the EAC there for a period of time, and what I wound up, I had a good shot, I felt like, at getting appointed. However, the county that I lived in had already had somebody appointed, and there's some lines there you can't cross the way
Well, there's
way the EAC is designed to be appointed. Yep. There's some lines you can't cross there, so I was
and they did it to represent, to try to get a representative, which I get. But there's one spot that's open, and I can't remember the exact criteria. Me and Matthew have looked at it. Other people looked at it. They'll never fill it.
Okay.
It's like
small
unless
small
the criteria changes. Yeah, it's like a county with X amount of people, which is very low, and can't be like neighboring to something, and then it has to be a business or whatever, and it's like, we're not going to be able to fill that.
Gotcha.
So I think something needs to happen with the criteria, and I think there needs to be more spots.
Well, I was going to say maybe they need to double the positions on that
I
thing.
think so, because
at least do a dozen.
We've got to. It can't just be, if we're going to have this, and this is just, once again, it's my opinion, but if we're going to have this, it needs to be able to do what everybody thought it was supposed to do. Everybody assumed that it was to benefit the cannabis industry and the state's relationship and foster that communication.
Yeah, the AC is advisory council.
Right. Well, it just seems like that's not really the part that has been focused on. So I think we need to keep that idea, keep that thought, and let's force the hand with legislation to keep that going.
Yeah,
I hope that happens.
I think it's a great deal. I really do. I think it had a lot of potential, but then we see all this turnover there that I wasn't even really aware of, that it was that prevalent.
So I've heard, rumors, obviously, but what's the old saying? Don't believe anything you hear and half of what you see.
Yeah.
But, I can't in a million years see any reason that Katie Neal would have been booted off outside of someone just didn't take a liking. Well, I don't think there was any scandal or anything crazy like that, from Governor
Stitt's office. So
did they respond?
They put out a statement essentially saying there was some kind of a conflict of interest. They didn't completely elaborate what it was, but that was kind of their stance. And because she was appointed from Stitt or his team,
I want to FOIA request that and be like,
it would be worth reading.
Just kidding. You're the state and you have to be transparent. What's the interest?
Well,
what are we hiding? We're a freaking state, dude. Like,
if you saw the viral,
just shake.
The viral clip from the last ESE meeting, it was when Katie and Adria Berry were kind of going back and forth on how the recall process is handled, and that kind of went everywhere in the groups that we're all a part of or in, and it made Adria Berry not look so great. And then coming, a few weeks.
You're just going to say it. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Obviously, that's what happened. I just didn't think we were going to say it, but I love it.
A lot of the communication is combative because, you just said it's an advisory council, in which, and I get you're almost like a wounded dog at a certain point. You've gotten attacked, and you feel like you're maybe backed into a corner, so you got to bite back. But anytime they throw an idea out there, it kind of gets shit on in those meetings.
Really, and it does.
And I feel like there's just such a combative, defensive nature where they're at, in which, just like I couldn't be a teacher, there's no way I could handle the abuse that they've gone through. So, trying to be fair, I do understand it. But, there's got to be a level of, we're living this day to day.
I think it would have been different if Katie would have, not carried herself well in that exchange. But I don't feel like that happened. It's been a while since I did watch the video, but it's been a while.
No, she wasn't disrespectful.
Just made points, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a disrespectful thing. It was because it kind of got put on whatever the process. There's a bottleneck that when a recall happens, there's a third party, like state or federal agency that's got to approve the recall, and that's what takes such a long time.
In the meantime, patients are allowed to buy potentially unsafe product.
Right. And then they kind of put the blame back on dispensaries, saying, well, they can look at our website if they don't see the email that gets sent out, and they can, go to an updated recall list, and they should be proactively looking at that list and remove those things from their counters. And she was like, well, that's crazy. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to sell it, and whatever needs to change in the system to make it to where those things are no longer sellable, how do we get there? And that's kind of where it was left.
And maybe I'm shaking my head for no reason. Maybe there is some sort of maybe it is a piece of legislation that would give OMA the authority to just immediately, put a supervisory pause or something. I don't know, but it seems like they've got, and maybe they downplay it a little bit. I know I'm not making it up, but they are the regulatory body. So yes, there are certain things that they can't step out of because it's legislation. But the way it's written, they pretty much have, outside of implementing or unimplementing something that's written in legislation,
right.
They kind of get to make the final call on that. That was what the bill 2 years ago kind of gave her the ultimate authority on, that wasn't verbatimly written. Was kind of for that reason, was for the matter of public health and safety. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, so, there's that.
Maybe I'm fixing to show my ignorance here too, but along those lines, and maybe I'm misunderstanding what the topic and where we're headed with this, but, I mean, does the seed-to-sale tracking system not facilitate it very easily on how to keep something from selling at a dispensary level?
It does, and this is the other part of that I've myself had to walk back my comments on, because I used to put a whole lot of blame on Metric too.
Okay.
Let me just say this. Metric, love them, hate them, whatever, okay? Their system does a whole lot. They can make it do a whole lot.
And it would very easily, put a stop
It would
sell.
very easily stop that from happening with the click of a button. But Metric can only implement what OMA tells them to implement. So I hate to be the guy pointing the finger, but at the end of the day, it just keeps pointing back the same way, where, maybe Katie was sniffing up the right alley. I don't know. Maybe,
we do know.
Y'all should do something.
There's lots of stuff that Metric has the ability to do. Let's not pretend we live under a rock. We all talk to people in other states.
Yes.
And, dude, there's some functionality in some other states that
would be very useful
to have in Oklahoma.
Brother, we have rings that you can rub, and your spouse halfway across the world can feel it. You mean to tell me that Metric doesn't have a way? Yes, of course they got a way. They probably got a way to freaking, there's no telling.
It's a database.
It's just it's a database. It's a I assure you, if the email got sent to them, they would make it happen. I bet even they would happen pretty quick if they needed it to.
Yeah.
But it's just I had to walk a few
Our
back.
buddy James, that he took some abuse from us for a little bit until we really understood.
Metric James,
Shout out James, man, he's great.
He's a phenomenal human being, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of not cornered him.
Well, it was at an OCIA
or a PCA event. We was there, and I was just like, hey, man.
I think he's coming to visit for too long.
Yeah.
I think we've got him on the calendar for a visit. So.
We tried to get him on the show, and then.
Yeah, he was coming on, and then, I think one of the titles of our episodes was Metric will let you cheat or some shit. Because was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Remember, there was a big update that happened overnight the week of Christmas a couple years ago. And when that update happened, we learned, for lack of a better way to say it, a lot of our customers weren't making the batches at the time the way they really should have been, and so we're like, oh shit, we're getting burnt out of a whole lot of the testing that legally was supposed to be coming through. And they put this update in, and then immediately, all the backlash that happened, they reversed it. Within a few hours.
Wasn't Metric's decision.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. And it was one of those things that, man, we lit him up. We're like,
We
dude.
did. Unfairly. I was like, man, y'all shit sucks. And he was like,
Right. You guys
I'm
are,
not
yeah,
big
we did a
dog.
whole episode.
Yeah.
They're letting you cheat. And yeah. And
We was
yeah.
wrong. I had to walk
we
it
were,
back. I was like,
yeah.
that's my bad, big dog. I apologize.
Doesn't eat and crow suck.
Yeah.
Well,
It
it's
does. And
'cause
I had to do that a lot in life.
Oh, you and me both.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste at this point.
we're
Little
looking
salt,
at
you're good.
a lot of these things from the common sense, point of view, and
Because we would have just thought, oh, there's no way that if it's possible, OMA wouldn't make sure it happened. Well, no, we were wrong.
and judging by the way Adrian Berry said it in the last comment is, if they went in and just shut it down, like it opens them up to litigation in a handful of ways, and that's really what's like hurt our relationship as a whole with OMMA. Because they used to talk to us, they used to,
be a lot more forthcoming,
Right.
But they have had the pantsuit off of them, or I don't want to say pantsuit off of them, but they have been
learned.
in the courtroom a whole lot because you make a decision that affects someone's livelihood hastily, whether right or wrong. They have the ability to tie it up in court, at least for the time being, right? So I think that's a lot of their motivation now.
I could see that, and again, it boils back down to what I just said earlier about communication being key, and they do afford us a opportunity to do it via email or via a web submission, or we could even go to the Capitol in person. Why are you breathing like that?
I'm just,
baby Brandon. Are you fixing to? Let me finish.
that was me letting it all go.
Let me finish.
No, I'm with you. I'm agreeing with you, brother. You have no idea.
But I mean, they afford us the opportunity to come to the Capitol and make public comment on the current rules. And do you remember the number on the last public comment period? It was like 142 or 148.
It was a lot.
Public comments that were made, and it effectively resulted in zero rule changes from all those 140 something public comments. And to me, I'm not saying that my public comment should have been considered.
Sure.
I made several of them. I'm not saying that your public comment should have been considered.
We made several of them.
But I'm saying out of 140 whatever,
Couldn't find
you're
two or
telling me
three?
there wasn't one that made some sense that we might consider changing some rules? Are you serious?
It blows
You can't make this up, dude.
So we have Matthew has a lab in another state, right?
Yeah.
In Missouri.
Yep.
Once again, I feel like I've said this a lot.
right.
I've said this a lot, and I get it. It's probably like everybody listens, probably like, Jesus Christ, he's going to talk about Missouri and how great it is. I get it.
They work together.
Don't have this problem, man. We went down there, and I'm getting ready to go back next week for MoCan, the big one in Kansas City.
Yep.
No, don't have these problems. So they had an industry association, which is just like, it's proof it does actually work.
Yeah.
That started several years before they had an industry there. That they worked with legislators ahead of time, crafted a beautiful, beautiful. Missouri is one of the few states where it actually started with more regulation, and they have actually eased up as time has gone.
That's the way most states have approached it.
That's crazy. That's coming from an Oklahoma perspective. It's like, what?
Right.
Dude,
It got easier to make money.
Well, you got to remember, State Question 788 passed, and dude, we had full-grown mother plants in the state the next day.
Oh, without repercussion.
Fully, stocked dispensaries.
Yeah,
the next day.
we were in business the
like,
next day.
right.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's some would say that's breakthrough technology.
It is.
Gorilla Glue number 4.
Yeah.
It was on every shelf.
And Rainbow Runs. No,
So Brandon, we do gotta wrap her up here pretty quick. So before we take off here, which, man, thank you for coming on. This has been awesome.
Seriously.
We could sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours.
And we would have if Shane hadn't just stopped it right there.
Yeah, I was just getting warmed up.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, dude.
Well, the cool thing is we do this every week, right? So
You ought to come back.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, dude. Like, you got to come back. Like, even if you don't want to, you're coming back.
You ought to.
I appreciate the invite, dude, and this has been a lot of fun. This is really the first time I've done something quite like this, so I really enjoyed it, man.
I'm sure there's a lot of podcasts where it's more pointed, it's more, they have subjects written down and they cross them off the list, and, we like to take the everything in our life is people that, don't come from the science world. Everything in our life seems to be very like, damn, got an SOP for that.
Yeah.
Can't talk about that.
Black and white.
So, this is just a time where we can just, kind of kick back and talk about the shit that's been cooking in our brains all week.
Venture over into the gray side.
Yeah, play a little pinball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but man, before we take off, you got anything else you want to drop on the world?
Dude, not really, man. Appreciate the invite to come up here and hang out with you guys in the.
If you are looking for a lab and you already hate our guts,
You're right.
go to our best friend. No, just like
Yeah, check out Baseline Laboratories in Choctaw, Oklahoma, America. Yeah, they'll get you taken care of. They are great.
They damn sure will.
I appreciate that, guys, and
appreciate you, brother.
Again, thank you guys for having me, and I would love to come back if you guys ever invite me back.
Oh, don't
I will
worry.
do my very best.
No, our episodes do better when we have guests on, so we'll have you back.
Right on.
Apparently, they're tired of our shit.
right. But all right, guys, I am Shane Davis.
I'm Brandon, and that's Brandon, and we're the Controlled Burn, and we'll see you next week.
We out.